Hello everyone, it's Ukeme. You're welcome to today's episode of Pages Highlights. Today we'll be looking at the sixth lesson of the Bloom Where You Have Been Planted podcast. And guess what? Today we're saying keep at it. So today we are saying keep on keeping on in order to bloom where you have been planted. Sometimes we start off something and we feel like, oh, I've got a great idea. And you just pictured everything. Maybe it's a business idea and you're like, this business, they need it in this city where I am, and I would start it off. And when I start off, it's going to bloom. People will need this product. And then you begin and it's like it's slow. It's not how you envisaged it. You feel like, okay, this was not how I envisaged it. Okay, let me stop. He's like, and go on to the next idea. And this happens a lot to people who have a lot of ideas, who are innovative. I feel like, oh, it's not working. Let me move on to the next. And you keep moving on from one thing to another. Today we're saying relax and keep keeping on. And I'll just share a lesson from my exclusive breastfeeding experience, really. So you see, I learned a lot during that season of my life. I don't know, for some reason, I had just decided that let me try this exclusive breastfeeding thing. Even though I knew I was a working mom and I wasn't going to be with my baby all through for the period of 6 months, but I had read a lot of things about it, and I was just feeling like let me just try it and let me see how far I can get on with this stuff. And so it was all easy when I was on maternity leave and I wasn't going to work. I was at home, so it was easy to know to just put the baby to breast whenever the baby cried. And then I had to resume work. I remember the first day I had to resume work. I had so much anxiety. Like the anxiety was just so much because my mind was just clouded. I was feeling like, will I be able to do this stuff? Will I be able to even produce enough breast milk to satisfy my baby when I'm not with my baby and all that? And my mind was so clouded, so much so it affected my milk production. I brought out my breast pump to, extract some breast milk, and the breast pump that used to extract breast milk on a normal day could not extract any breast milk. Like it was literally empty. I was so worried. My husband encouraged me, like, don't worry. If we don't get breast milk, we'll just buy formula, baby will be fine and all that. And I was like, but I really want to do this thing. I want to try it. And anyways, I had some milk that were stored in the fridge. So my baby used that the first day. And the next day, I think, my mind was a lot calmer, and I started to express, and in starting to express, it felt like nothing was coming out still. And I continued using the pump to keep expressing, keep pumping. And eventually, after some minutes, after like, should I say, it was close to 20 or 30 minutes before my body, I think my mind and everything just picked up, and then it just started pouring. It just started pouring. Like I had my bottles filled. And as I went on during those period of time, I realized that whenever I start to express, sometimes initially the the milk won't flow. And as long as I kept trying to extract and just sat on one point and positioned myself, eventually, once it starts flowing, it just continues flowing and my bottles get filled. And what I realized from that sometimes, you would feel like, this thing is not coming out, so let me just get up and continue. But I realized that when it starts flowing, I'm the one that would even stop, because it will flow. Sometimes I'll fill 2 bottles, 3 bottles sometimes, and at a sitting of pumping. From this experience, I learned to keep on, keeping on, just continue to press that expressing button, continue to press it, something would come out from it. So today is just like an encouragement to see you're feeling like you're in a position you want to bloom, and you're feeling like I've been pressing on this button is not coming out. just keep on keeping on. Don't quit. Wondering like, oh, if I had stopped, I would never have known that I had the capacity to produce this much milk. Eventually, my baby went through that season of exclusive breastfeeding, and there was not a day that breast milk was not produced enough in quantity that the baby needed. So what am I saying? Just keeping on. Don't stop pressing that button you're pressing. You could find better ways, of course, of doing things better. You could find newer innovations. You could find things that would work for you. Like, okay, I began to realize, okay, when I eat certain kind of food that were rich in fiber, oh, when I took a lot of fluid, it helped this production. So you can begin to find out things that you can do in that your situation that would help you emerge better. But then don't say because you're not seeing immediate results, you decide to quit. You'd ask yourself whenever you feel like quitting, why did I start this? Like, what is my why? Why did I even start it? So when you ask yourself, why did I start it? It takes us back to our journaling, our discussion on journaling. Like, if you had journaled your reasons on why you're starting this thing, like, okay, so these are the reasons why I started it. So let me just continue, because I know that this stuff would benefit people. I know that for me, it was like, I knew that, okay, this um stuff was beneficial to my baby. And apart from that, I felt like I was going to be a working mom, and I was feeling like I would not be able to connect more with my baby. I felt like this is one of the ways I could build a bond with my child. And even though I was going to be a working mom, I would not be with my child for hours. When I drop him off at 8, I'll probably be picking him up at 5 past 5 at the close of work. And I don't want my baby not to know me. So I felt like if I do this, I would create a bond with me and my child. So that was my why. That was why I wanted to do it. So I continued. So when you find your why concerning a situation as to where you are, and you're like, okay, this is the reason why you're doing this thing. When you feel like quitting, just remember your why and don't stop. Just keeping on, because one day it will get to the peak, and the flow, there will be outflow. It will keep pouring. You would see it and you would be amazed. Like, you would be amazed. But if you decide to quit halfway, you would never be able to tell how far you could have gone. Keep keeping on. Don't quit. Don't stop. Don't say, because I'm not seeing the results now, so there's no point in moving ahead. Because I'm not seeing the results now, there's no point in moving forward. Let me just jump up to the next thing. Let me just move on to the next thing. Or this is not even worth it. No. Keep keeping on. So with this, I've come to the end of this episode. Thank you for staying tuned. I do not take this for granted. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you love this content I make, please consider subscribing to this channel. It means a lot to me. Hit on the like button. Also, leave a comment in the comment section. And see you again in another episode. Bye.